about Taiwan, I'm Reece Ayers with news from here in Taiwan and around the world. Prosecutors are seeking to detain 4 more officials affiliated with the opposition Kuomintang for allegedly forging signatures on recall petitions. The 4 people are connected to the KMT's local offices in Keelung and New Taipei City and to the Keelung city government. It's the latest in a widening investigation into alleged forgery in recall campaigns against lawmakers from the ruling Democratic Progressive Party. Over the past month, prosecutors have raided several KMT local offices, including those in Taipei, Tainan, Kaohsiung and Ilan, and questioned more than a dozen officials. Taiwan's big 3 freight shippers are seeing a jump in urgent orders from the US amid a 90-day reprieve from higher US tariffs for all countries but China. But even if those tariffs do ultimately kick in after 90 days, there isn't much worry that export orders will dry up, as John Van Trieste reports.
The road to Taipei's container port is packed as buyers in the U.S. rush to beat U.S. President Donald Trump's planned tariffs. There is, for now, a 90-day reprieve on higher import duties from all countries except for China, and customers are ordering early so their goods arrive before those duties kick in. At a meeting of shipping firms, the heads of Taiwan's big 3 freight shippers gave their take on what's happening, and their responses were generally upbeat.
我想我们长约在美国线签约的比率是高，我们的量价基本上会比去年好。那在欧洲的部分价格也有在提高，基本上没有太大的变化。
The head of freight shipper Wanhai says the volume of e-commerce and orders of goods from customized furniture to machine tools shows that the impact of tariffs so far has been limited.
晋阳线我们包括我们今年的运费呢，都比去年的同期运费1到4月这样看下来，大概运价大概成长3成，所以表示晋阳线目前状况都还不错。
And there was confidence that barring a catastrophe, orders from the U.S. won't dry up, tariffs or not.
我是觉得我们还是可以继续观察，应该不会那么悲观，因为除非美国整个经济状况出了大问题，他不购买，他不消费，不然跟亚洲购买这些部分一定会继续。
But recent U.S. policy has been unpredictable, and economists say there may still need to be some caution.
比较大的变数是在那美国到底那边会有什么样的情形？还有就是说，他现在的协议上面除了中国之外，会不会波及到更多的地方？ 然后让全世界到美国的总运量下降。
So rushed orders continue to come in as budget-minded customers in the U.S. decide now is not the time to wait and see. Justin Wu and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
27 Chinese military aircraft and 9 naval vessels have been spotted around Taiwan in a 24-hour period ending Tuesday morning. The Defense Ministry says all 27 aircraft entered Taiwan's Northern and Southern Air Defense Identification Zone, or ADIZ. The area isn't Taiwan's airspace, but serves as a defensive buffer zone. One official Chinese ship was detected near Taiwan in the same period. It deployed its own aircraft and ships in response. A new investigation details the scale of China's intimidation of government critics living overseas. The 10-month project by the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists included interviews with more than 100 people across 23 countries. Many said their families in China were interrogated by authorities after they spoke against the government at protests and public events. Others reported being surveilled, receiving physical threats, or being hacked. ICIJ also investigated internal police documents from 2001 to 2020, finding directions on how to identify and control targets in China. It says these tactics are now being used to crush dissent overseas. A senior Japanese lawmaker stressed the need for Taiwan and Japan to boost their self-defense while leading a delegation to Taipei.
台湾も日本もこれからお互いに防衛力は強くしていかなければなりません。非常にセンシティブな情報を共有する準同盟になるかと思います。そういう幅広い協力関係を作っていく、そして情報共有の場を作っていく、ここに専念をしてまいりたいと思っております。
Takaichi Sanae is known for her close ties to Japan's late former Prime Minister Abe Shinzo and her experience with both defense and economic matters. During her stay in Taiwan, she met with President Lai Ching-te and Legislative Speaker Han Kuo-yu. A massive power outage has caused confusion and chaos across the Iberian Peninsula. Both Spain and Portugal declared states of emergency following the blackout, which struck at around midday on Monday. Core infrastructure, including hospitals, nuclear plants, and transport hubs, lost power, leaving thousands of people stranded and hundreds stuck in elevators. Electricity is slowly being restored to millions across the region as authorities investigate the exact cause of the outage.
Y las instituciones del Estado competentes y todos los operadores privados están trabajando de forma coordinada para comprender qué ha pasado, qué ha sucedido. Se están analizando todas las causas potenciales, insisto nuevamente, sin descartar ninguna hipótesis, ninguna posibilidad.
Authorities say it may take up to a week to restore full power in some areas. Canada's Liberal Party has won the country's general election. Canada's public broadcaster CBC News projected the Liberal Party would win the most seats, securing a fourth consecutive term, although the final scale of the victory and whether the party can secure an overall majority are still unclear. It means party leader and incumbent Prime Minister Mark Carney will retain the position he's already held for 6 weeks. Carney called for the election in March after former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau stepped down. The Vatican says its cardinals will meet on May 7th to begin a conclave to elect the next pope. The closed-door assembly will take place inside the Sistine Chapel in Vatican City. Over 100 cardinals from around the world will gather to choose the next leader of the world's largest Christian church. They will have no contact with the outside world until a decision is made. The secretive process follows the death of Pope Francis on Easter Monday. Communities and activists in Bangladesh are pushing for stricter crackdowns on illegal battery recycling factories. The facilities are being blamed for widespread lead poisoning that is ruining local ecosystems and endangering public health. Rosie Greninger reports.
12-year-old Jade Akhtar lives with neurological disorders, and his growth has been stunted due to the toxic effects of exposure to lead. Akhtar's mother says her son was poisoned while playing near an illegal battery recycling factory in their hometown of Tangale in central Bangladesh.
class 3 তে থাকতো 3 থেকে পড়ে উঠতে পর থেকে ও ওর কথা শুনতো না স্কুল যেতে চাইতো না যে দিয়েইলেও থাকতো না এসে পড়তো আর খালি কান্না করতো সব সময়
Jade is one of 35 million children in the South Asian nation who've had dangerously high levels of lead exposure. The heavy metal is found in everything from household paint to turmeric. But environmentalists say the recent surge of illegal battery recycling operations, fueled by a growing demand for electric rickshaws, is making the crisis worse. An estimated 80% of battery recycling in Bangladesh happens informally, without proper safety measures. Environmental groups believe there may be up to 265 illegal sites operating across the country.
There is no accountability of that sector to use high-quality batteries. So they are using low-quality 8 to 10 months longevity batteries. They are recycling it frequently and causing more pollution, lead pollution.
The environmental impact is equally devastating. In Fulbaria, a village a few hours north of Dhaka, a Chinese-owned battery recycling plant is destroying local ecosystems. Pipes from the factory spew acid and lead directly into rice paddies, turning once fertile farmland barren.
এই ব্যাটারি ফ্যাক্টরির প্রভাবে আমাদের যেই ফসলি জমিগুলো আছে এই ফসলি জমিগুলো পুরো একদম শক্ত হয়ে গেছে আর মাটিগুলো একদম ঝুরঝুরে কালো হয়ে গেছে এখন ওইখানে ফসল করার মতন উৎপাদন করার মতন কোনো ব্যবস্থা নাই
Outraged communities are pushing for action, filing pollution complaints across several regions, leading to court-ordered shutdowns in some cases. However, residents say corruption often undermines these victories. Still, activists are continuing to fight for stricter enforcement, hoping to protect more children like Jade from paying the price of lead pollution. Dolphine Chen and Rosie Greninger for TaiwanPlus.
Taiwan's east coast has been a major source of jade since prehistoric times. And while the boom days are long gone, one village there has visitors learning to appreciate this precious commodity in a hands-on way. John Van Trieste reports.
For more than 50 years, Jiang Jinyuan has been cutting, carving, sanding, and polishing the special jade from the mountains near his home in eastern Taiwan. He's part of a tradition that goes back to the area's prehistory. And despite the collapse of his hometown's trade in the precious gemstone, his workshop has managed to hold on. Now, an exhibit showing off the story of Jiang and his neighbors in a place that's still proud to be Taiwan's jade capital. It's the black dots against a deep green that are the telltale sign of Fengtian jade, named for Fengtian village in Hualien County. Zinc, chromium, and iron mixed into the rock give it its special spotted look. And while only rediscovered and named after a 1956 survey, it's been prized for a very long time. Fengtian jade artifacts have shown up at more than 100 prehistoric sites across Taiwan, and it's even been dug up abroad, hinting at the flow of ancient trade.
丰田玉没有到日本，那丰田玉也没有到福建、广东，就是到越南、菲律宾或是婆罗洲。
But it was in the 1960s, shortly after the geologists found it, that the area saw a true jade boom. Those who remember it say everyone wanted a piece of Fengtian jade, even in places where it had once been unknown.
外销日本啊，不管大理石也好，丰田玉也好，伊甲这石头相关的哦，迄当的是发展咱这个产业蓬勃发展。
And by coincidence, a ready labor force was already on the ground, ready to feed the jade market. The government had just given farmland in the area to retired military men who'd fled to Taiwan from China after the civil war there. But the area wasn't fertile, and farming was a bust. The whine of polishing machines grinding on stone soon filled local streets as jade finishing workshops multiplied. Industry veteran Jiang Jinyuan remembers.
80间左右，拢从事台湾玉加工的行业，大部分都是小家庭的加工业了。哦，大家做的外销。
By 1975, up to 90% of the world's jade was coming from these few workshops in rural eastern Taiwan. Though some miners would steal jade and sell it on the black market, the industry kept going from strength to strength, until, very suddenly, the whole thing vanished. Taiwan's economy stumbled amid global oil shocks, and jade from other places, Siberia and Canada, proved to be what the market wanted, leaving Fengtian's jade products unsold. But there are survivors, those who've learned to adapt, like Jiang Jinyuan.
没落了就一间一间的结束。哦，我们是经过几十年一个产业，我们是一直撑到最后，哦，来转型做 DIY。 若无转型，阮的产业就爱流失掉啊。
Today, like the rest of Hualien County, Fengtian is a tourism powerhouse, a place where city dwellers come to recharge amid the clean mountain air and green landscape. Here, hunting for the perfect piece of jade in the area's fast-flowing streams makes for a pleasant afternoon. And plenty of visitors discover the joys of making their own jade ornaments too, as once professional workshops open their doors to those looking for a unique DIY experience. The days of mass export may be past, but Fengtian is still in love with its jade. And the many who pass through each year come away loving it too. From prehistoric trade good to modern tourist attraction, Fengtian jade has played many roles over time. But it's always tightly linked to this special corner of Taiwan and the people who call it home. Alex Chen and John Van Trieste for TaiwanPlus.
Thank you for watching What's Up Taiwan. You can visit the TaiwanPlus website or follow our social media for more stories from Taiwan and around the world. Finally, take a look at these wisteria trees now in full bloom in Japan. I'm Reece. Take care and see you next time.